for a championship!
A double play wins it for Frazier.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch! Micaiah touchdown!
Into the layup, goes at the buzzer.
Wins it! The championship!
Good evening, everybody. Kyle Smith alongside Michelle Tantillo. It's 8:53 p.m., which means it's about some time for some IHSA flag football. It's the last quarterfinal of our quadruple header, as it's Lane Tech, the champions, as they're taking on the Guilford Vikings. Now, Michelle, both teams have 19 wins, but Lane Tech has 4 losses, and Guilford, surprisingly, still undefeated.
So it definitely comes down to the fact that the seasons can be a varied number of games. So I don't know if those losses are anything other than just extra games for Lane. As we saw earlier tonight, sometimes coming in with undefeated is hard because you're playing for that, not just the move on.
So this is where both teams stand. We talked about Guilford being undefeated. Michelle, it's very rarely been a contested game whenever Guilford's playing. They beat Lake Villa 20-14. That's Lake's high school. Other than that, it's just shutout after shutout after shutout. When you look at their schedule, since October 2nd, only twice have they not shut out an opponent.
Wow.
So good luck to Lane Tech. They're 19-4. It's a very nice record. But it's not 19-0. You look at some of these shutouts, 26-0, 12-0, 27-0, 35-0. So they can find a way to beat you 12-0 with old-fashioned defense and not a lot of offense. It's a team that can win in a lot of different ways. But look, Perspectives was undefeated. They had the game in hand. They couldn't get a knockdown on 4th and 28. Are we going to see this in this one? Will Guilford lose their first game in the quarterfinals? Lane Tech's had a very nice season, Michelle. I just don't think they have enough to compete with Guilford tonight.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how both teams are able to adjust to what's happening on the other side of the ball. You know, again, if, you know, the later start time, I don't think any game has been played this late, and so that might affect how the players are. Guilford's not super close to here, and so they have certainly had a bit more travel, although city traffic, that travel might have been the same amount of time, even though mile-wise we're way closer to Lane.
Yeah, I-90, it's no joke at 5 o'clock to get here. Good news is this is a 9 o'clock, 9:15 start, so you didn't really have to worry about traffic so much. But you do want to get your team warmed up. It's obvious they didn't get here at 8. They've probably been here since 7, if not earlier than that, warming up near the parking lot, throwing the ball around, keeping loose, and should be a fun one. Lane Tech, we talked about with the superintendent for Chicago Public School, and she talked about how Lane Tech, they like to run a lot of laterals. So it's a very explosive offense. It's very gimmicky. They run kind of a rugby/football team where they'll do a quick pass and they'll lateral it to the closest wide receiver. So hook and ladders, lateral plays, option plays, that's what we're going to see from Lane Tech. And honestly, partner, that's what you kind of need to do against a team that's 19-0. You got to catch them off guard and run something they haven't seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will be a matter of, you know, has Guilford seen that on the other side of the ball? Are they ready for it? Even if they've watched film and seen it, have they been able to practice that? A lot of the teams have been playing multiple games per week, and so that doesn't leave a lot of time of practice to be able to install new things, to be able to watch the film and adapt for the new opponents. They only found out a couple nights ago that this was a team that they would be playing tonight. That doesn't mean that they weren't on their radar, but doesn't mean that they necessarily practiced a ton to be able to play this team.
For Lane Tech, they've been very impressive as well in the postseason. They had 2 regionals, 2 sectionals. They won 2 of their 4 postseason games, 30 or nothing better shutouts. At the same time, Michelle, their last one, it was not pretty. They barely beat Jones College Prep 9-8.
Oof, that was tight.
It's hard to score 9 points, too. I mean, there's no field goals, so trying to think how they would do that.
A 6 and then probably either a 2
an extra point, and they'd have a safety, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's not like a touchdown, no extra point, and a field goal. We're going to take a break. National Anthem coming up next here on NFHS Network.
Honor the men and women of the United States Armed Forces serving throughout the world.
with this moment of silence. Please remain standing as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Our team introductions are presented by OSF Healthcare. Don't get sidelined by an illness this season. Get care quickly and stay in the game by visiting OSF On-Call Urgent Care in person or virtually 24/7. Now let's meet tonight's teams. Wearing white and representing the Rockford Guilford Vikings with a record of 19-0, let's meet the coaches. Head coach Greg Taylor, Sr. Assistant coaches Gregory Ford. Assistant coach LeVar Johnson. Now let's meet the Rockford Guilford team. Number 1, senior Marzani Lambert. Number 2, junior Maya Ray. Number 3, sophomore Olivia DeShazo.
Appreciate everybody watching the broadcast. If you want to watch this, just go to NFHSnetwork.com. You can download an on-demand copy, or you can rewatch the entire live version on demand at NFHSnetwork.com. Here are the stats. Those are brought to you by MaxPreps.com. For Guilford, they use 3 different quarterbacks, but their primary one is Smith with 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Running the football, most likely going to be strong. He's got 45 rushes for 374 yards, and then for Page, 32 rushes for 485. Receiving the ball, Burnett, 27 catches for 616 yards. Michelle, that's over 22 yards per reception. He is excellent yards after. She. Too much boys football for me, I guess. Defensive stats. 18 interceptions for Burnett. So if you're wondering why Guilford is undefeated when one of your players has 18 picks, that's probably going to be why. For Lane Tech, they've used 2 quarterbacks this year. The better one is Val Messi. He's got 28 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. For Val Messi, 34 carries for her for 292 yards. Yost receiving 55 for 403. Defensively, sacking the quarterback, Davilas had a very nice year, 5 sacks, as well as Fabian with 6. And then for interceptions, 5 for Atavi, but there's 2 players with 3, Agbaku and Marin, both with 3 picks. And then for punt returns, they just haven't returned the ball a lot this year. just 2 for Marin for 30 yards.
Number 36, senior Cariana Valentine.
We haven't seen any blowouts in the tournament, Michelle, and this could be a close game, but at the end of the day, I just don't know how you can knock off Guilford, but at the same time, Perspectives was undefeated. They had it in the bag, and then they didn't. So if there's a team that could pull off the upset, Lane Tech at 19-4, that's the team. They've had a lot of shutouts as well. And the last thing I want to bring up against Guilford, they dominated Yorkville 20-0. Why do I bring that up? Well, Bradley Bourbonnais, who's playing tomorrow, they lost 27-0 to Yorkville. I know any given Sunday, any given Friday, that's fine. But it just kind of shows you Yorkville can beat Bradley Bourbonnais, who's going to the semis, and Guilford undefeated. They win tonight. They're going to the semis as well.
Hey, there's a lot of teams that are sitting at home who beat teams that are heading to tomorrow.
Right,
so,
yeah.
You know, that stings too. So it comes down to the game, the hour that we play, and how that score evolves. You know, I hope that it is not a blowout, because at this point there should be strong offense, defense for both teams. So I like the close game.
One of the ways that Guilford got to this game, the quarterfinals, they beat Jacobs. Jacobs was only 14-3, and they still fell to Guilford. Just an excellent Guilford team. As
Number 10, sophomore Lila
the Guilford
Massey.
team, it's 19-0.
Number 11, junior Faith
And
Gaelic.
tough to beat.
Number 12, senior Alana Belmassi. Number 13, senior Gabriella Bahina. Number 14, freshman Alexis Frazier. Number 15, sophomore Ariana Marin. Number 16, sophomore Vanessa Ramirez. Number 17, sophomore Ruby Lim. Number 18, senior Emily Andes. Number 19, senior Florencia Fabian.
You know, we talked about that Jacobs game. We talked about how good Burnett is throwing picks. He had 4 picks. She I keep saying he, too much. She had 4 picks in that win over Jacobs.
Senior Michaela Brown. Number 24, senior Gianna Phillips. Number 25, sophomore Carly King. Captains and coaches, please step forward for the coin toss. Your referees for tonight's game, the referee Chris Hart, line judge Eric Cunningham, line judge Carolyn Cross, and back judge Brian Walchuk.
So Guilford won the toss, but they're going to go on defense. And I kind of agree with that, Michelle. You force Lane Tech to go down the field. If they don't get it, if it's 3 and out, then your high-flying offense could put one in the end zone. But what you love to get the ball going into the second half. And we've seen it before in the previous 3 quarterfinal games where teams have chances to score right before halftime. And when you have the opportunity to get the ball in the second half, it's even more advantageous to go with the 2-minute offense to score right before halftime.
Yeah, that's definitely a point to be able to get the ball. There's also a point to you want to come out strong and get those points up on the board fast and show who you are. So we'll see if Lane Tech can do that, or if Guilford's going to get the stop.
So Guilford against Lane Tech. Lane Tech in the dark green and white, and Guilford in the blue. We're going to start around 9:10, so the late game. They've done a pretty good job of getting these games on time, as we will probably not be playing past 11 o'clock tonight. Pretty impressive to allow the kids to go to school and then get these games in before it reaches 11 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, the flag game is fast, and so, I haven't seen one go beyond an hour with timeouts, with ref calls, timing out, halftime. It's a fast, efficient game.
So here we go. Guilford. Actually, Guilford will be on offense here. Pitch play to the right. What a nice move, as it was a pitch play over to Guilford's Maya Page.
You can see Guilford is aware of how fast the clock is going to go. They got that ball to the ref, got it back on the line quick.
2nd and 11, ball at the 29. Remember, it's 1st and 20 at the 20s and the 40-yard lines.
Guilford.
Clean pocket. In the flat. She's still on her feet until she's not, is finally showing the flag to the nearest ref. And they'll spot at the 31, so it'll be 3rd and somewhat manageable. Make it 3rd and 9.
Gain of 2 on the play.
3rd and 11
3rd and
now.
9. From their own.
I was right the first time. 3rd and 9 with 19:08 to go. They're going to split the running backs. 3 wide receiver set. Shotgun formation. Clean pocket. Eyes the field. Over the middle. Dangerous pass. Able to get a hand on that. IJ Agbaku.
Yeah, good read by Lane on where the ball was going.
It'll be 4th down. Rockford Guilford will punt.
So the woman from Rockford go 3 and out, and they'll have to punt. So they go under center for the punt. Remember, there's no block attempt in flag football. Very nice punt. Takes a very friendly Guilford hop and then return at the 29. Lateral play, dangerous. No fumbles or fumble recoveries, as that's going to be a dead ball near the 32.
Yeah, only dangerous because they were pitching the ball back, so they lost a yard or 2 on that. But
we talked about it in the pregame show that's what they like to do. They like to play a little rugby/football style flag football. Laterals, hook and ladders. They're going to do everything they can to win tonight, because there is no tomorrow if you lose.
Correct.
Clean pocket over the middle. And able to catch it.
Right there with the flag.
It was completed that time to Michaela Brown, the senior wide receiver.
Michaela Brown on the completion.
Good snap. Over to the sideline. It's a very weird release. Takes a long time for that pass to get delivered by Elena Valmesi. Second and 16.
Valmesi pass incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. 2nd and 16. From their own.
One in the backfield. She's got time in the pocket. Valmesi over the middle. Behind the receiver. Still on her feet and able to yank that flag out. But not before she gains a nice amount of yards by Gianna Phillips.
Missed pull, but then recovered quick for Guilford.
Guilford leading the way. Greg Taylor, senior. The assistants are Gregory Ford and LeVar Johnson. 3rd and 8. Clean pocket for Valmesi. And completed over the sideline.
Good pressure on the quarterback, but good defense.
How about that? The defensive back and the wide receiver, they fist bumped each other. That was nice sportsmanship. Fourth and
3.
short. You're inside enemy territory. And it's like you talked about, Michelle. Very rarely do coaches like to do pooch punts, so they're going to go for it. Valmesi, here comes the pressure over the middle, first down.
Valmesi apiece.
And trying to get the ball away from the defense, that time by Maggie Yost.
Really first down, Lane Tech.
They certainly weren't going to go for the punt based on where they're at on the field and the fact that there's no score.
First and 17.
It was worth going for it.
One in the
Rockford,
backfield.
Guilford 37.
Valmesi. Sidearm delivery. He was trying to deliver it to Jocelyn Hale.
Rockford Guilford's catching on in
Valmesi
those center
pass
passes.
intended for Jocelyn Hale, incomplete.
It's like we talked about. It's a
Second
team
and
coming into the
17.
quarterfinals, and Rockford Guilford, they have not really been tested.
Rockford, Guilford 37.
They beat Lakes 20-14. Other than that, it's been mostly blowouts. But here we go, 0-0. Second and 17 for the champions. Good snap. Valmesi. It was right on target, but dropping in was Hale. Now make it third and 17.
Incomplete. Third and 17. From the Rockford Guilford 37.
Would like to get at least 10 yards to consider going for it.
They're going to keep going for it. Based on where they're at, there's no reason to punt.
Comes the pressure, trying to get the flag. She's open. Completed. First and 10 and more as it's completed to Gianna Phillips, the senior receiver. And the Lane Tech champions are rolling right now.
Soraya Burnett and the stop for Rockford Guilford. It'll be first and goal.
Everybody contributing, receiving the ball for the champions.
That's a gain of 26 on that pass play.
So it'll be first and goal at the 11. Valmesi rolls to the right. Valmesi and almost picked.
Yeah, lots of pressure on the quarterback there. So even though it wasn't going for the flag, just even blocking.
Got to be careful if you're Valmesi. If it's not there, just throw it into the ground, live another day.
It'll be second and goal. From the Rockford Guilford 11.
One in the backfield. Valmesi, this time they run it. Able to get the flag. Nice job. As able to get the flag was Kimura Strawn.
Yeah, Rockford Guilford's doing a great job reading what's happening against them.
For Rockford Guilford.
So they're going backwards. Third and goal at the 14. They split the backs as they scatter. Valmesi to the end zone.
Just threw her fingers. Bummer.
She was so wide open, she wasn't ready for the pass. She's like, what do I do next? I'm so open. I'm not used to this. Fourth and goal at the 14. No field goals tonight, so they're going to go for it.
You could see Rockford Guilford talking about it, seeing where the hole was.
Game started with Rockford Guilford. They went 3 and out. Valmesi in the pocket. Valmesi. And behind the wide receiver, it didn't really matter. She was going to get tackled at the 10-yard line regardless. And back and forth we go. So we've had a punt, a turnover on downs, and now deep in their own territory. But that's the thing, too. If you get first downs, you win the field position battle. And now having to go the length of the field is Rockford Guilford.
From their own 14.
It's a team that's brilliant on defense. One of their players, Burnett, has 18 picks. But right now, Rockford, they're on offense. Smith with just 6 interceptions to go along with 32 touchdowns. Pitch play. And Lane Tech they're playing well, and they are not scared of this 19-0 giant.
Nope, they don't look scared at all, and they look like they've adjusted maybe a little bit to what they saw the first round.
Second and 4.
So tomorrow's semifinals, it'll be Fremd against Bradley Bourbonnais, and then the winner of this game will take on Whitney Young. Nice pass. And she's still on her feet. Able to finally get her flag. That time was Ariana Marin. She's a sophomore, combination wide receiver or defensive back. But not before. She gains a lot of yards. And first and 3 at the 37. So the way it works, when there's a turnover on downs, the ball was at the 14, right? So you got to get
to the 20.
Right, and then you get to the 40.
And then to get to the 40, correct.
So it becomes, when the ball's at the 14, it's 1st and 6.
Correct.
So if you're wondering, oh, was there a lot of flags today? No, not necessarily. Completed to the 50.
There.
Nice pass. She's still on her feet.
Pass
They finally get the flag near the 30-yard line, but not before they gain a lot of yards. Maya Page in the open field. Yards after catch. The yak. Excellent there. And then they're going to mark it at the 35.
Yeah. Good movement of the hips to be able to defer the pull.
29 yards on the play. It'll be first down for Rockford Guilford. From the Lane Tech, 34.
Something that Lane Tech has to avoid. Can't give up big plays on defense. Got to make them go the length of the field. They switch the formation. Now they go under center. 3 to the left in terms of wide receivers. Most likely going to be a false start.
Flag on the play. False start against Rockford Guilford.
This is not only the latest played game in terms of starting at the time we did, but probably one of the coolest games that these girls have had to play. There has not been cold weather so far, and we've only hit that the last couple of weeks, and so lots of differences when you're playing a little chilly.
Right, I mean, a lot of the girls wearing shorts. Not really shorts weather tonight. 1st and 19 at the 39. 2 in the backfield. Handoff, left side. Page. This time 2 defenders on her.
Maya Page, the ball carrier.
It's an assisted tackle. It was delivered by both Surgit and Fabian.
Gain of 7 on the play. 2nd and 12.
Again, if Guilford just can keep this rhythm going,
32.
slowly chunk away, get back to the 20, another first down, work their way to the end zone.
This time. Fakes both handoffs. Over to the left. Still on her feet. As the completed pass from IHSA Smith.
Yeah, holding call too on Lane.
Coming into the quarterfinals. Almost 2,300 yards passing. They also used Barté as a quarterback. In garbage time, she had 3 touchdown passes. So the penalty is on Lane Tech as the ball moves forward.
First and goal for Rockford Guilford.
It'll be first and goal near the 14.
14.
Well, Lane Tech, they had a fast start, but Guilford has answered, led by Smith and their quarterback. 2 in the backfield. Smith fakes the handoff, still has it to the end zone. Touchdown pass.
Ooh,
Smith.
just short. Flag pulled just short.
Wow. What a way to pull that flag just before she crossed the goal line.
Yeah, unlike tackle, it's a little deceiving. They get in there, and yet they're down.
You haven't run the ball yet, so, well, no, it's 2nd goal to 1. You can't run it because it's in the 5-yard spread.
No run zone, yep.
But you can do a little flip pass.
This is part of the fun of the game, if you will, the fun, the challenge of calling plays when you get that no run zone. That certainly limits what you have options to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this would be like the tush push if this were the Eagles, but they can't do that. Hopefully they know that. And they fake the run, a little play action pass, touchdown pass, Guilford. I like that, though. The defense is like, wait, they can't run it. Are they going to cheat? Are they going to cheat? And then finally it's play action, touchdown pass.
You're going to go for 2 points here from the 8.
I would.
Rockford Guilford will attempt the 2-point conversion.
Look, I mean, we'll see how Lane Tech answers, but, man, this is a tough Guilford team. It's a shame they won't get to play Perspectives, because that was another undefeated team until Bradley Birdnay beat them earlier tonight. Clean pocket for Smith, in the pocket. And that's going to be picked off. Dead ball in the end zone. No pick six can go from end zone to end zone.
Anita Crejo with the interception. 2-point conversion is no good.
So 6-0 lead for the Rockford Guilford Vikings.
Let's see what Lane has
6 minutes left in the first
to
half
answer.
to score. Rockford, Guilford.
Man, that first half has gone by very fast.
Lane Tech first and 20 on their own 20.
And this is where the third phase of the game, the clock management, comes into play.
Still on her feet. As it was a good completion over to Hale. And now Lane Tech trying to go no huddle. I mean, you're right, though, Michelle. Like, you want to switch it up between no huddle and huddle. You want to keep the defense guessing. You want to keep them on their toes. Clock management, you don't want to waste too much time. But you don't want to score too quickly because then you give the ball back where they can score.
Correct.
Hesitation move and able to get that flag.
And Lane will start with the ball in the second half, so they're aware of that. So they're okay if they take these 5 minutes to get down the field. It's a matter, though, of they need to get to the 40.
39 from their own 31.
3rd and 9. You can run it if you want. Clean pocket for Valmesi. Now here comes the pressure. She gets out of it. Now goes over to the right. Dangerous pass across your body. If you're going to do that, Michelle, you got to set your feet. If you're throwing across your body, that's an easy pass to get picked off. So 4th and 9 coming up at the 31.
4th down.
Definite pressure helped on that one from Rockford Guilford.
And the other thing is, too, you can't hold the ball forever. You only have 7 seconds to get rid of it as a QB. As it'll be a punt for Lane Tech. Valmesi, pretty good one. And able to catch it at midfield. Goes into contact well, and she's brought down to 47.
It'll be 1st down for Rockford Guilford.
Don't have to score if you're Rockford, but you love to put up another 6 to make it a 2-possession lead.
Because the game goes so fast, you always want to get points on the board. It's not something, especially the first half going into halftime, that you're just going to waste time on the clock. That's second half management of time. At this point, strike, get those points.
It's a Guilford team. I mean, they're great at every facet of the ball. They don't turn the ball over either. So even if they wanted to get aggressive, which they are, Smith, she'll keep it. As they got her flag near the 40, they're going to mark at the 41. It was an excellent job, open field tackle-esque by Frazier.
Alexis Frazier on the stop for Lane Tech.
So big difference between tackle and flag. You know, tackle, it's pretty easy. Your target is a whole human. When you're playing flag football, the target is grabbing a tiny piece of fabric hanging from someone's hip that is moving. So there's definitely a difference there in terms of finesse and skill.
It's like you talked about. You try to use one hand, you might be successful or you might break a finger.
Correct. And again, I think that's going to be a big injury that we're going to keep seeing.
Second one, you can't run it. Still on her feet. Man, they are just so slippery in the open field. You wonder why they're 19-0. That's one of the reasons. It's just a simple pass to the left side, and a 6-yard pass becomes a 10-yard pass because they're so hard to bring down. It's so hard to get that flag down in the open field.
Correct. That's something that the team that I coach, we worked a lot on, is moving our hips, running while you're twisting. Again, that's not something that you have to do when you're playing tackle football. You just run with the ball. Here, you're kind of dancing, really, doing the cha-cha, moving your Shakira hips around, and they seem to have that.
Quick pass. As they're inside the red zone now. Completed to Page. She has been very involved in this offense tonight.
Stopped by Alexis Frazier.
For Lane Tech, to be shut out in the first half would be very disheartening. And not only that, if you're down 12-0 or worse, you played a decent game, but just not nearly good enough. Right on the precipice of scoring again, Smith and this Viking offense. Fakes the pitch. On the move to the end zone. She was out of bounds.
They have a 6-minute halftime, which is triple the length of what we had during the season. And so hopefully Lane is going to be able to make some adjustments if they don't get the ball back again, get it down the field this half.
Second and goal at the 18. Guilford has both of their timeouts. That's the 1-minute warning.
Timeout.
You know, the offense hasn't been flashy, but they're not forcing it. I mean, that's what makes a good team. They're 19-0. They're not trying to force the ball into tight windows. Quick passes, get it to your playmakers out in space and see what they can do.
Small and steady, that's really what wins the game. Sometimes you can be flashy with the big plays, but just chunking along at the yards is going to chunk away at the time as well, and that's, again, another facet of this game and how fast it goes.
Fuels the best because it is the best. Gatorade. Proud partner of the IHSA State.
If you're just joining us, Guilford had the ball first. They had a 3 and out. Lane Tech went down the field inside the red zone, but they couldn't get it into the end zone. Guilford scored on a nice drive maneuvered by Smith, and now they're at the precipice again of getting it into the end zone. So second and goal at the 18. Today's game is available for download. Click the digital copy button under the event video player to download a digital copy of the event right to your computer. And today's game is also available for all subscribers via the NFHS Network Live mobile app for Apple and Android devices. Second and goal at the 18, 3 to the left in terms of the wide receivers. Clean pocket. Here comes the pressure now. Rolling to the right. Smith, dangerous pass. Seemed like it was up there forever, and then a flag on the play. It was completed to Page. Kind of a hospital pass there, Michelle. If you're going to hang that ball up like that, just throw it away.
Stop for Lane Tech. There's a flag on the play.
And did he wave towards Lane Tech? Or okay, here we go. Holding on Lane Tech.
Holding against Lane Tech.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky with those loose balls like that. Defense messes up. Get the flag, you're still moving forward.
Right. That would, you're up 6-0. Obviously, you want to make it 12-0, 14-0. What you don't want, if it's not there, you don't need to force a pass. Just live another down. But she was able to get it over the hands of the cornerback, completed to Page. So it'll be third and goal at the 4.
Third and goal.
They can't run it. She's open.
Good defense, good coverage there.
If she was a half second quicker, it would have been a touchdown pass. She delayed and allowed the linebacker to get back into coverage. Be a big goal line stop for Lane Tech if they can stop him here. Should be fourth and goal at the 4.
Third and goal.
Okay, now it's third and goal. So they had third and goal in the Jumbotron. But
Lane Tech 4-yard line.
So third and goal now. 4 wide receiver set. Remember, the center is also eligible. Takes the handoff. Smith, she has to pass. Can't run it. Dangerous pass. How did that not get picked off?
Yeah. It's good coverage on Lane. They're definitely watching what's happening.
She's playing with fire right now, Smith. Is she going to get burned on this play? You would think she learns from her mistakes and doesn't throw a pick, but fourth and goal. Remember, they can't take it the length of the field. If it's picked off at the 1, they can take it for a pick 6. If it's picked off in the end zone, it's just first and 20 at the 20.
She's also at a point where she's got 7 seconds to decide who to throw it to. She has to move the ball forward. She can't run with her feet, and so that's hard for a quarterback to go fast thinking about that.
To the corner, touchdown pass. It was delivered to Burnett. She's not just good on defense. Touchdown pass. Not the dagger yet for Lane Tech, but man, that one hurt. You get them to fourth and goal, and they still can't get the stop.
Rockford Guilford will attempt the 2-point conversion.
Going for 2.
Not surprising.
They got their run back.
Yeah. You could run a reverse here. What do you want to run here? A jet sweep, a reverse, maybe a flea flicker?
Man, Lane has been all over them, so I think just a run even at this point would be good. Quarterback running in.
She's very shifty, is Smith. In the pocket. She's running with it now to the end zone. Going to be close.
Yeah, she's not going to make it.
2-point conversion, no good.
So 12-0. It's Not insurmountable, though. We saw Evanston come back 12-0 in the first quarterfinal match. Game, too many soccer games.
Correct. If we see them not go super fast here with the 41 seconds left, it's because they are going to get the ball at the start of the second half.
And I believe Guilford called a timeout earlier.
Yeah, this is Lane this time.
I mean, Guilford would love to make it 18-0, but at this point I think they're okay just playing good defense and hopefully going into halftime without giving up a single point.
Did you know Illinois Wesleyan has been ranked the #1 college in Illinois for jobs?
Download the NFHS Network app from the Apple App Store, Google Play Store today to start watching live games wherever you are. Millions of athletes, thousands of games, one destination, NFHSnetwork.com. We are high school.
Join Planet Fitness today and enjoy tons of equipment.
Gotta love being in the Chicagoland area. 1 minute it's 70 degrees, now it's getting close to 49. It just drops at the drop of a hat.
Welcome to Illinois in October.
Welcome to Illinois August. Anytime. One of my favorite sports radio talk hosts, Julie DeCaro, said she went to a Cubs game once in the middle of July, and her grandma said, make sure to bring your sweater. I mean, she's not entirely wrong. It gets pretty cold on the lakefront at Wrigley Field. 2nd and 16 at the 24. Lane Tech's offense, they've been okay, but they haven't been able to get into the end zone yet.
Yeah, if they can get something going here, even though they'll have halftime coming up soon, they will get the ball and maybe they can get some momentum.
Clock stops on the incompletion.
Pass intended from
That's the thing.
Brown, incomplete.
If you run the ball, you force Guilford to either call a timeout or just be okay with going into halftime being 12-0. You pass an incompletion, it's basically a free timeout for Guilford.
Defense is not worried about the clock right now. It's usually offenses in charge of what's happening, especially with Rockford, Guilford being up. They're not concerned about the clock one bit.
Yeah, but their offense would love to get the ball back. I mean, if you can make it 18-0 before halftime, you're not going to say no.
With 25 seconds, unless they do a pick six here, that's going to be hard to do.
It will be hard. But when the clock stops on the first, she catches it, so we play on the punt return. And just keep running until the official says stop.
Ashley Canseco on the return for Rockford Guilford.
Just joining us 12-0, and if you're not familiar with flag football, no field goal kickers. So if Rockford's going to score here, it's got to be a touchdown. And for Smith, if it's not there, just throw it away. You'd love to make it 18-0, but what you definitely don't want is a pick six to give Lane Tech any kind of momentum going into halftime.
Right. Rockford, Guilford might go for it. They might also just waste the clock.
You can do that too, and it looks like in victory formation for a knee. Well, they're going to run it. They're good at that, Michelle. It looks like they're going to do one thing, and it becomes something entirely different. We saw it at the 1 yard line. We thought, wait, you can't run the balls at the 1 yard line. Then they did a play action pass.
Well, they were trying to do the run to run the clock out, but Lane had one more timeout, so that's why we're stopped with 8 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think Guilford had any more left. And with them being at the 30-yard line, I don't think they'd want to call a timeout anyways.
No. And you could tell even by that play choice that they were doing a run. They wanted the clock to just end.
It was funny, though. It looked like they were in victory formation to take a knee, and they just changed their mind and little run play. 2nd and 10 at the 30. If you're Guilford, yeah, you could do a Hail Mary if you want.
That formation is actually more common than you think for flag football. With everybody in tight like that, it can cause some disruption, some chaos. If you're running routes from there, you can spread out from the field. That kind of confuses the defense. So this is not an unusual setup.
So no Hail Mary. Does she get to the first down spot? She won't. And that'll do it for the first half. So conservative look by Guilford. No surprise there. They can't get into the end zone, but they lead 12-0. Final thoughts, partner. Very impressive from Guilford. Lane Tech hanging in there, but just not enough offensively thus far to pull off the upset.
Yeah, if Lane can pull it together over halftime, they're going to get the ball. If they can get that downfield, they have to, I should say, get it downfield at that point. If not, Rockford, Guilford looks like they're on pace to keep running this game.
Right, they would play Whitney Young tomorrow. Winner of this game plays the Dolphins tomorrow morning. We're going to take a break. Second half coming up next here on NFHS Network.
This is heart. This is pride. This is community. This is high school football.
$12-0 lead for the Guilford Vikings. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Michelle Tantillo. And Michelle, Guilford, this is the reason why they're 19-0. They do it on offense. They do it well on defense. They don't make mistakes. They force the opponent to make mistakes, and that's pretty much the storyline of today's game thus far.
Correct. Slow and steady, and then they were using a lot of clock to make these scores as well. We'll see what Lane is going to be able to do when they come out here on offense. If they're going to be able to adjust and get down and score, that's what they need.
What were some of the good things you saw in Lane Tech offensively, and what were some of the bad things? Obviously more bad than good because they've been shut out thus far.
They have. They've just been basically stuck by the defense. And so certainly some good passes, some good attempts, but overall Rockford Guilford has their number and is able to stop the ball. I will say, though, that Lane has had strong defense to definitely hold Rockford Guilford to only 12 points. So if they can continue that and then up their offense, that's going to help improve, obviously, their standing to be able to play tomorrow.
This is a Lane Tech team led by head coach Carolyn Schwartz. See what adjustments Carolyn Schwartz told her young ladies at halftime. They got 20 minutes to do it, running clock. Otherwise, the women in blue are going to be playing the Whitney Young orange and white Dolphins. And Whitney Young, they don't have much time to practice because they have a morning game tomorrow, but got to do more offensively if they're going to beat Guilford. As they only scored 13 points, but somehow found a way to beat Willowbrook in the quarterfinal.
This is one strength, though, of having a big, busy season is that you're used to being able to turn around and play a new team quickly. And so that's going to be something that will factor in as we head to tomorrow and play some more games.
So we'll have 4 total games tomorrow, 2 semis, third place game at 2 o'clock, and then the championship around 4 or 4:30. Hopefully we'll get a full crowd for that state championship. This is an up-and-coming sport. It's fun. It's fast.
Yeah.
It's unique. Lane Tech. How about this? Double reverse, and Guilford wasn't expecting it. Almost broke it for a touchdown as the double reverse over to Hale. And that's what you got to do, Parker. You got to keep this defense off guard. New looks that they're not used to.
Distract them and get them to look one way when you're going the other.
See if we can see some of those laterals we were promised before the game. They just don't have a lot of time to throw. This time it's going to have to be a quarterback keeper. Still on her feet. That's the thing. You just keep running because even though there's 3 or 4 players around you, it doesn't mean they're going to knock that flag off.
Correct. Sometimes they're just going to miss. Sometimes they're going to grab part of the jersey, let go, so they don't get that hold call.
1st and 17 for Lane Tech from their own 43.
No onside kick earlier either, so Lane Tech, you'd like to score quickly if you can. How about that sack? That is not easy to do, Michelle.
You're running in from the 7, but if you have someone athletic and you're not watching for it, they can sneak right in there.
Got that head on a swivel, and she got the sack. Every time Lane Tech seems like it's going well for them, then there's a sack or an interception or an incomplete pass.
Yeah, if they can just get one big play, they just need to get something to boost their spirits.
Almost got that sack. Looking downfield, flag on the play, completes it. Past the 40, hesitation move. Spinorama, Hale with a nice move. Now, did the QB and Valmesi, did she try to, it's going to be holding against the defense. I think they're going to disregard it.
There's a flag on the play.
Just a nice pass by Valmesi.
Holding against Rockford Guilford, decline.
So do they prefer to go by Rockford Guilford or just Guilford?
No idea.
First and 2 at the 22. That's what makes the sport so interesting, too. It's not always 1st and 20. Depends where the ball is. To the sideline.
And again, like I said, they just needed one big play, and hopefully this will roll them some momentum.
Wonder if those conversions are going to come back and bite Guilford. They're 0 for 2 on the conversions. We talk about how teams don't really like to do the one-pointers, but sometimes the one-pointers are easier to convert. Goes outside the pocket. She's very hard to get in the open field to the end zone. Touchdown pass. The champions answer. Val Massey with a beautiful move and then throws it to the end zone. Extending the play, helping out our wide receiver with a beautiful pass over to Grier Burke.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2 here because then that gives them the ability to run. Unless you are guaranteed to get that pass, going for 2 gives you just more plays. You can have the quarterback run if there's nothing happening. Just definitely more options.
Wow. When your linebacker or defensive back can do that, quarterback's running to the left. You can't tackle her. All you can do is get rid of her flag, and you do it. Good luck for anybody that plays Guilford in this postseason.
Yep, Guilford definitely knows where Lane is aiming and where they're headed, where they're facing. They strategically are sending in the pressure.
12-6. No one has converted in this game on the 2-point conversions. It's a fun game. I mean, Guilford is mostly dominated, but they're only up 6. They got to get into the end zone at least one more time. Smith. Open field. Finally got her.
Smith, pass complete to Maya Page.
She's got to have at least 6 receptions. She's been all over the field tonight.
Second down for Rockford Guilford. Second and 14.
We'll see what Guilford brings here.
Would you blitz if you're Lane Tech?
Yeah.
There they go. They're going to blitz. That's the thing. You got to get Guilford out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, and even if you just throw the blitz in a couple of times, puts them on edge.
Remember, it's not just are you blitzing, you also got to blitz with your head on a swivel, basketball, shuffles, because if you just go in, all it takes is one little juke, and then the quarterback gets past you, and the blitz becomes 7-on-6 because you're behind the quarterback.
Yeah, sometimes it's more focusing on blocking the pass than it is going for the flag when you're going in for the blitz. Kind of depends on what's developing in front of you as you're running in.
That pass over the middle, can they get the flag in time? They do. You know, something I've thought about, Michelle, I wanted to run it by you. When you're coaching at Prospect, do you tell your blitzers to put both hands up to try to get in the way of that passing lane?
Absolutely, yeah. Go for the flags, go for the ball. That's always number one.
Because it's almost like, because you just don't have enough time to get the sack on the quarterback unless you're just really good at it. It's almost like a basketball play. You're trying to block the pass. This time a punt for Guilford. Not a good one. And, well, even if they had fumbles, they went out of bounds anyways. Plenty of time for Lane Tech. If Lane Tech scores a touchdown here, do you try to go for the easier one-point conversion to take the lead?
No, you go for the 2 because then you're able to do the run. Because otherwise the quarterback gets really stuck in those no-run places. If there's nobody available in front of you, you can't run. You have only 7 seconds to get the ball out of your hands.
Yeah.
You lose options quick.
Val Messi. She's got kind of that baseball throw, but it works for her. Guilford's still doing okay. Once they get to the 30, then it's slightly panic mode. That's the thing, though. When you don't convert, honestly, Michelle, as I've been watching these games of the postseason, it seems like the conversions sometimes are more important than the touchdowns.
Guilford, 48.
On the scoreboard for sure, but it's really just being able to block people from getting in the end zone. That's the big mentality. You just got to keep them out of the end zone. Or if you're on offense, get in that end zone no matter what.
Because 12-6, you just score touchdowns tied up. 14-6, still got to convert to tie the score. That does matter. Second and 6. Over the middle, loose ball was up there what seemed like forever. Page almost intercepted it.
Val Massey pass intended for Gianna Phillips. It's complete.
3rd and 6. You can run it if you want. They're going to split the wide receivers. They also got the right guard in wide receiver position. Here comes the pressure.
Ooh, good sack there.
You know, she's so good at that. If I'm Val Massey, I'd probably try to go to my right because she's so good at knocking that flag off whenever I go to my left.
Yeah, they just seem to adjust where she's at. Send her in from a different direction.
I would go for it, but I understand why they're punting.
Elena Val Massey to punt for Lane.
False start.
Flag on the play.
If it's on Lane Tech, that's on. Well, they're going to call it actually on Guilford. Offside.
Those people on the line cannot move.
Against Rockford, Guilford.
They have to just stand. Even if they needed to sneeze, they just have to stand, not move.
Right. It's so hard, like especially if you're a huge football fan as a girl playing tonight. You're so used to how tackle football is played. You got to get into a whole different mindset. Not as easy as it looks. Val Massey. Bad throw. And Guilford takes over on downs.
Yeah, there are some core pieces that are the same. There's a lot that's different. I have found that flag football has been more enjoyable than tackle football. Less injuries, faster-paced game. Just inventive. It's new. It's fresh.
1st and 16. The reason for that is they only have 1st and 20s at the 40s and 20s. Handoff. Left guard. Trying to get the flag and does. It was a nice play by Florencia Fabian.
Stop by Florencia Fabian.
Very unique name. You don't meet a lot of Florencias out in the real world. There's a Florence Nightingale, but even she was a Florence, not a Florencia. 2nd and 11, ball at the 49. What do you want to do if you're Guilford? Do you want to try your best to score or just run as much clock? And if you have to punt, then you punt.
Run the clock.
Yeah. I mean, you'll take the touchdown if you get it, but you don't absolutely need it.
Correct. You want to take time getting this touchdown.
Fabian again. From one defense to the other, you know, we've talked a lot about Strawn, how she's able to just yank that flag out, but how about Fabian? She could do the same thing.
Yeah, at this point, Rockford Guilford, because it's third, they're definitely going to want to cross that 40-yard line. And then again, they can go into slow-mo to just inch away on the yards to run the clock.
12-6. 3rd and 6. You can run the ball if you want. Lane Tech desperately needs a stop. 9:15 to go. It's running clock, by the way, so that clock will dwindle quickly. One in motion, might be a legal shift, and it was. Delay of game, actually.
Delay of game, yeah. They needed to get that going a little faster. Right intention of spending a little clock time, but
one of the advantages of the no-huddle offense, you rarely get called for delay of game. You're not huddling and overthinking your next play. You just go off the armband and run another play. They went huddle that time, and they got called for the delay of game.
Yeah. I think they were trying to waste the clock, but
right.
Missed the counts.
3rd and 11. Smith outside the pocket. They got it. Unless they got the flag at the 41.
Just shy.
Can't run it, though.
Nope, will be pass only. Forward motion of the ball out of the quarterback's hands.
But it's just so tough on the defense, especially if you have an athletic girl at center. All she's got to do is snap the ball, turn around, catch it for a 1-yard catch. Mm-hmm. And on defense, it's so hard to box out because it's zero contact on defense.
Mm-hmm. Gives just a different set of options.
Dropped it. That's on Smith. You just got to do a little tap pass. Don't need to do a line drive pass on 4th and 1.
Yeah, they had the right idea, though, with sending someone as if it was a run. But Lane was able to read that and know it's not going with a runner.
1st and 19.
Well, Guilford's had their opportunities to put this one away. They couldn't do it. Val Massey, she tries again. That time she gets out of the pressure. And it's completed. Still on her feet. It was completed to Brown. She's had a very quiet day, but Brown with a nice catch.
Shy of the first down.
Don't have to score fast here if you're Lane Tech, but they're fine with the no huddle.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of up to their decision if they want to get in there fast so they can try and go for more.
Oh, my goodness. You got to adjust. She's too good on the left. You're going to have to roll to the right. Plus, you probably want to roll to the right anyways because you're a right-handed throwing quarterback.
But it's a matter of just they're not making adjustments that they need to be making.
3rd and 8. Comes the pressure again. It was there, just short-armed it to Brown. You could punt it if you want, but you're running out of opportunities. They're going to punt.
They are going to punt.
What do you think? Do you think they should have gone for it, or do you like them punting here?
No, I think going for punting, Rockford Guilford has shown being able to get down the field quick, and so pushing them back.
Oh, is it going to stay at the 5? Look at this. To the 20, to the 25. Hesitation move, still on her feet. As Burnett. Take your pick who's been the better player. Burnett with the touchdown reception, but Strawn with 3 sacks tonight.
Yeah. It takes a team.
You need at least 2 first downs to put this one on ice.
First down. 1st and 6 from their own.
I don't believe either team has called a timeout yet. First and 6. Handoff. Nope, they fake it. Out to the right side. That gets past the 40.
Lane Tech is hanging in there, giving the Rockford Guilford
pass complete to
only short amounts of gain, but
first down, Rockford Guilford.
That still pulls a lot of time off the clock.
1st and 18 from their own 42.
That's the thing too. Like once you get it past the 40, you know it's not 1st and 20; it's 1st and 18. And these, it's not just when you convert; it's where you get the ball to that really helps your offense.
Yeah, it's always just get upfield.
Bad decision by Smith. Just throw that ball away. Oh, but the good thing about the sack, it keeps the clock running.
There's still intentional grounding in flag football, and so there's a part of it where I'm sure she was just being safe without having Lane run in for a score.
Second and 22. Clock runs until the 1-minute warning, so an incompletion is okay if you're Guilford. I'd probably run it here. Going to fake the run. Smith. She's a little off right now, Michelle. What are you seeing from Smith? That's 2 passes she should have had.
I mean, it's getting late in the game. I'm not sure if they're making these mistakes. I mean, they're obviously not doing it purposely, but some of these mistakes are only helping that clock go down too, and so they're in the lead. Let's see if they can get it all the way down for that first down.
Smith, pump fake. Dangerous pass out in space. And they didn't get the flag until they do, but she got the first.
Yeah, it's a big first down right there. That's going to allow Rockford Guilford a lot of opportunity to just slow down the rest of the game. Run out the clock. This is when Lane Tech is going to feel helpless in terms of being able to do something. You know, the longer that they take back there, defense can't pull flags. They can't intercept the ball.
You can't do the peanut punch either. You can't knock the ball out for a fumble.
Nope, that is definitely something that is not allowed in flag football.
Nice move by Smith. Dangerous pass. You know, just hang on to the ball. If it's not there, just throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, but even that, right? The clock's still going.
Now, if a quarterback tries to do that, are there ball boys near the chain? Well, I shouldn't say chain, but near the yard marker to make sure that they don't have to like find the football to throw it back.
No.
From the Lane Tech 39.
2nd and 19. What a conversion that was to Strawn. Kamora Strawn's probably been their player of the game. 2nd and 19. Pitch play to the left.
Quick grab. Good defense on that play.
Stop by Greer Burke.
Play the game right here.
Stop by Giselle Bolden.
Whatever you do, if you're Smith, if it's not there, you don't need to throw it into a tight window. Taking the sack is not the worst thing here.
Third and 16.
Incompletion is okay because the clock doesn't stop until the 1 minute mark.
Correct, and Lane hasn't really been able to move the ball on offense, so
make sure you're on the line. They are.
If they turn over the ball.
Reverse. Well read by, she just fell down. Guilford wants a tackle, but she just fell down.
Yep.
That'll do it for the 1 minute warning coming up. Well, you're too deep to punt, so you're going to go for it. Appreciate everybody watching. You can watch it on demand on NFHSnetwork.com.
From the Lane Tech 27.
Well, this Guilford team, they are beatable, but every time you think you got them, they get a conversion or they get a key sack. Every time you need a big play, they get it. Nothing against Lane Tech. They're 15 games over 500. They're just playing a team that's perfect.
You can be a perfect team and show up and miss the mark. You can be at the champions and struggle. You know, it's game to game, whatever is going to happen on that scoreboard. And so Rockford Guilford has just shown up tonight. Lane has been a little flat.
Made some plays, just not enough. The thing is, they're not adjusting. We saw Strawn with those sacks. It was clear you're just not going to get away from that pressure. You got to roll to the right and force Strawn to make the adjustment. That's what Lane Tech wasn't doing. Some of that's coaching. Some of that's quarterback play. Audible at the line of scrimmage, right? Read the linebackers. Read the safeties. Something that Val Massey was not doing that well. And for Smith, she was really good in the first half. The second half, meh. Remember that 4th and 1 play? All she had to do was do a tap throw. If she had converted on that 4th and 1, probably wouldn't be in the spot. They probably actually would have scored a touchdown to make it 18-6 and put this one away. So there's some things that they don't have enough time to clean it up, but things they have to work on tomorrow if they win. 4th and 7. First down would most likely end the game. Even if you don't convert, it's a long way to go for Lane Tech to get the game-tying touchdown.
For Rockford Guilford.
And the clock is going to be the enemy.
Smith gets rid of it. Incomplete. She had some room to run. She's not that fast, though. Anyways, it'll be 1st and 13 coming up for Lane Tech.
She was able to use a bit more of the clock by throwing it as opposed to running, because it took a little longer for her to make that decision to throw it, whereas if she would have run, the flag would have been pulled. And so even with the clock stopping under a minute.
Over the middle. Oh, that's the thing about the zone defense, that the windows become tighter for the quarterback when it's incomplete or you throw the ball too high. Usually the safety's right there to pick it off, but it was just dropped by Guilford. You don't need a touchdown here, Michelle. Just need a conversion.
Down at 13.
In the pocket, here comes Strawn again. This time they make the adjustment. Val Massey on the quarterback keeper, and that's all they need. She's still on her feet. And where are they going to mark this? And timeout called by Lane Tech. Finally, they made the adjustment. I just wish they would have made that adjustment 10 minutes ago. Finally, she rolled to the right instead of the left.
Yeah, they did get the first down, though, which is great. 40 seconds left. They need some big plays here.
Got 40 seconds, Michelle. How many plays do you have? 5?
You could have one, and you could win the game. We had one where we won in the last 14.
Well, ideally, this is a Lane Tech team. We haven't seen a lot of big plays out of them. gotta get it to a spot where your quarterback has a chance to win the game for you. So you're looking to get to the 30 or the 20-yard line. So you have, maybe 5 plays to do that?
Yeah. I think the clock is going to be the enemy in this one.
They have 1 timeout left. I believe Guilford has both of theirs.
I think Lane has used both of theirs.
Oh, they have? Okay, so that hurts too.
Mm-hmm.
Clock stops on a first. Briefly, but you still got to spike it. Up in the air, picked off.
Yep, game over.
Nice pick. She's still on her feet. Eyeing the pick 6. And it's Burnett with her 19th pick of the season. Pick 6.
There we go.
Burnett with her 19th pick is a pick 6 to put Guilford into the semifinals. Lane Tech fought hard, but Guilford's just too tough.
Yeah. This is the place then where
we all like fantastic finishes, but when you put your offense in a spot where you got to score the game-tying touchdown with under a minute, you're putting yourself into low probability positions.
Correct. And you can see here that they're going for 2, and again, it's not because of the points that they need. It's because they have options then on the play.
Smith. She'll throw it. Oh, what a catch by Strawn. My goodness, that was a grab.
Pass complete to Kamara Strong. 2-point conversion.
What can't this young lady do?
With 25.6 seconds.
Overhead with the catch and the 2-point conversion. Congratulations to Lane Tech. They had a nice season, but too much Guilford. And for Lane Tech, first things first, when they look at the game film tonight, you got to adjust quicker. Eventually, she started rolling to the right, but it was just too little too late. They needed to make that adjustment at the 10-minute mark of the second half. Over the middle. As it was a nice completion over to Lil Massey. She plays 3 positions, wide receiver, defensive back, and punter. And they'll spike. See if they bring in any substitutions or if they just stick with the starters. This will end Lane Tech's season and should be a fun one. Whitney Young against Guilford. The first game will be Bradley Bourbonnais against Fremd. I don't know what Bradley Bourbonnais has left in the tank after they converted on a 4th and 28. Another pick. Burnett again, that's her 20th of the season. Don't take it the distance.
Well, there's the buzzer.
I know she wants to have fun, but I don't know. The unwritten rules of football, nobody's catching her. Do you just give yourself up? No, she got the pick 6. They're going to say roughing the passer. That would give them an untimed down if they want it, and they are going to take it. What do you think, Michelle? Should we put in some of the reserves for one more fun Hail Mary play to end their season?
If they've been good coaches, they've been throwing people in all season long. And so probably just going out with the people they have on the field is the way to go.
For Lane Tech, their season's over. You know, you can call whatever you want here. Doesn't matter. See if you want to run something you haven't really practiced, or maybe just a quick Hail Mary to the end zone. This time they run Wildcat. She's open, but she underthrew her. That'll do it. 26 win for the Vikings. Lane Tech was in it most of the night. They hung tough, but they just couldn't convert enough times. Didn't make enough adjustments, and what else can we say for Kamora Strawn? Picked up her quarterback when Smith was struggling. Huge conversion late in the second half, and all those sacks made Val Messie's day tough. And then she got the 2-point conversion, the pick 6 for Burnett. It's a team. It's a great team. They don't have a lot of holes, and that's why they're 20-0.
Exactly. That's why they're undefeated. So let's see if they can keep rolling to the state game tomorrow.
So our 3 stars of the game brought to you by NFHSnetwork.com. It was pretty much everybody on Guilford. It was Strawn. Smith was okay, and, of course, Burnett with the 2 pick 6s. looks like they said she stepped out of bounds, so she was not credited for the second one. 20-6 win. Congratulations to Guilford. They will look at that athleticism with the headstand, the backflip. 20-6 win. That does it for our quarterfinal broadcast here on NFHS Network. It'll be WCIU for the semifinals. We'll be back for the third place game at 2 o'clock. And then it's back to WCIU for the championship game. But for our excellent crew, for Phil Dorner, for Chris Angela, for Michelle Tantillo, I'm Kyle Smith signing off from beautiful Willowbrook High School. Final score 20-6 in favor of the Guilford Vikings, and we'll see you next time on NFHSnetwork.com.